of the divine selfhood. This reflects the idea that light is the basis of the whole universe, and it reminds us of that prayer of the Holy Prophet, "Give me light in my heart and my tomb. Give me light before me and behind me. Give me light on my right and my left. Give me light above and below. Give me light in my sight, my perception, my face, my blood and my bones. Allah, give me light, give me light, give me light." Jafar's tafsir continues, "Every one of these lights has a people and a state and a location. All of them come from Allah, which God mentions in his saying, 'Allah is light of the heavens and the earth.' Every one of his worshippers has a source of inspiration, a mashrab, which comes from one of these lights. Maybe the servant of Allah has a share of 2 or 3 of these lights, but they shall not be completed except by Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he stands with Allah Ta'ala by virtue of his complete servitude and love. Thus he is light, he is nur, and he comes from his Lord enlightened, ala nur." Jafar said, "Allah illuminated the heavens with the light of the stars and the sun and the moon, and he illuminated the heart of the believer with the light of faith and Islam. He illuminated the paths, the turuk, to Allah with the light of Abu Bakr, Omar, Uthman, and Ali. May Allah be pleased with them. On account of this, the Holy Prophet said, 'My companions are like the stars. Whichever of them you follow, you will be correctly guided.'" Some of the ideas put forward here include the stages of spiritual progress, the maqamat, and the concept of a source of inspiration, which may vary from one person to another, the mashrab, the practice of pure ubudiyya, pure worship of Allah, and the concept of balance in following the path. Let me tell you, of course, this is an ocean, and I don't have too much time, so let me just give you a brief idea of some of the allegories, some of the symbolic correspondences that the mufassirs have made in this tafsir. Sahl al-Tustari, who was the author of the oldest commentary, wrote in explaining, "Allah is the light of heavens and the earth. Allah is the one who beautifies the heavens and earth by light. And like unto his light means like to the light of Muhammad. Hassan al-Basri said, by that is meant the heart of the believer, because the hearts of the prophets are more illuminated than can be described by the likeness of these lights." He said the light symbolizes the light of the Quran. The lamp, the siraj, is ma'rifah or gnosis. Its wicks are the acts of duty, the fara'id. Its oil is sincerity, and its light is the light of attaining union with Allah. The more purified that sincerity becomes, the more the lamps will give light. And the more the performance of the religious duties increases in truth, the more the lamps will increase in light. The symbol of the blessed tree, shajaratan mubarakatan zaytuna, is interpreted by some commentators as referring to the lineage of Prophet Abraham. For example, by Ghazali and Kushairi, who said the light of the Mohammedan gnosis is kindled from the tree of Ibrahim. Khwaja Abdullah Ansari notes that some of the interpreters say the allegory is that the niche, the mishkat, represents Ibrahim, the glass, Ismail, and the lamp, Muhammad. Alusi, a 19th century Sufi, cites in this context the verse, "Kalimat tayyiba ka shajaratin tayyibatin, asluha thabit wa far'uha fis sama." A good word is like a good tree. Its roots are firm. Its branches are in the sky. This is particularly useful since it connects with the idea of God coining symbols for humanity. Yudrabu al-amthala lin-nasi. Among the richest evocations of tree symbolism are found in the Tamhidat of Ain al-Quzat Hamadani, who died in 1131. Here the tree, the shajara, may be taken to refer to the high spiritual experiences of the Holy Prophet, or even the Holy Prophet himself. I'm going to read you a translation, the words of Ain al-Quzat Hamadani, talking about the shajara, the tree. "Once you see the tree of Tuba, the tree in paradise, Tuba, Then you will know which one is the Sidrat al-Muntaha, the low tree of the furthest reach, and which one is the olive tree, the Zaytuna. The tree is, I spent the night in the presence of my Lord. And of course, this is referring to a hadith of the Holy Prophet where he says, I spent the night in the presence of my Lord, and he gave me food and things to drink. The basic meaning of all of these expressions is the same. They simply have different names. I'm still quoting. Sometimes they may call it a tree. Sometimes they may call it Turi Sina, Mount Sinai. Sometimes they may call it the olive, reed by the fig tree and the olive tree. From the tree a voice called out from the tree, saying, O Muhammad, I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds. That's a quote from the Quran. And commentating on that verse from the tree, a voice called out from the tree saying, O Moses, I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds. The poet Shabastari in Gulshani Raz said the following Persian poem. Rava bashad an Allah az darakhti chera nabud rava az nekhbakhti. It was accepted that a tree said, I am Allah. Why wasn't it permitted for a good person to say it? And in this Wujudi poem, he's talking about Mansur Halaj. These words, Ain al-Qudat continues, these words should be listened to. The tree that grows out of Mount Sinai will lead you to the secret of the olive tree. Do you know which of these is the Mount of Sinai? Look to the mountain, it must be this mountain. Ibn Abbas said, this means look at the light of Muhammad, peace be upon him. They call the light of Muhammad a mountain, since his light is the source. Qaf by the noble Quran also bears testimony to the mountain. End of Ain al-Qudat's quote. In terms of these other allegories, commentaries on the phrase light upon night, light, nur ala nur, may mention the Prophet and the Quran, or the combination of the believer's efforts to reach God with Allah's grace drawing him or her nearer. Ecstatic Sufis have interpreted the phrase light upon light as the state of the lover of Allah being extinguished in the divine realization, like the moth which is consumed in the flame, the well-known image in the Persianate poetic tradition. Those are just beginning introduction to the symbols. Let me say a little bit about the philosophy. In addition to describing the light sustaining all existence, this verse speaks about principles of contrast and balance, and this is embodied in the phrase La sharqiyata wa la gharbiya, neither of the east nor of the west. Sufi tafsirs emphasize the balance, the contrast between the west and the east, Jamal and Jalal, Lutf and Qahr, gentleness and forcefulness, being and witnessing, wujud and shuhud. The east and the west may represent pre-eternity, azal, and post-temporal infinity, abad, or this world and the next world. In Lahaji, the east represents the spirits and the west the bodies. The concept of balance between these two elements is put forth by al-Qushayri, who interprets the phrase light upon light as referring to lights acquired by effort, iktisab, which combine with the lights acquired by the divine grace, the fazlullah. He continues that neither of the east nor of the west means that fear is not isolated from hope. Rather, there's a balance between the two. And the Sufi theories of the maqamat, the states, also talk about this balance between awe and intimacy, contraction and expansion, effacement and sobriety, annihilation and subsistence, fana and baqa. Near the conclusion of Mishkat al-Anwar, al-Ghazali unfolds a complex system